Alright, YouTube, what's going on? I just want to get on here and talk about an issue that's been on my mind for quite a while and haven't really got around to it, but since I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet with regards to this and the fact that even though this is like a 2-year-old issue, almost exactly 2 years old at this point, I wanted to talk about this because it concerns a person that I'm a big fan of. The great and honorable Judge Judith Scheinland, the host and the judge who was the judge on Judge Judy before she ended her old show from 1996 all the way to 2021. Now she's doing Judy Justice, which streams on Amazon and that I am a big fan of. I have been a fan of Judge Judy since I was like 10 or 11. Like, my mom has been a big fan of her for a great number of years. A lot of my family's been a fan of her and other court shows for a great number of years. So I got into those shows, and like, I have a mad amount of respect for Judge Judy. I really do. I think she's great. I think she calls it like it is. I love when she puts stupid people in their place. Now, I love her. I watch her show on Amazon daily, like that. The TV I have over here, my streaming TV, the Roku TV, I have Amazon hooked up to there. I watch it on there all the time. So, yeah, I'm a big Judge Judy fan. I'm a big court show junkie myself, being a law person myself. So yeah, I'm a big fan of her and other court shows. And I have a mad amount of respect for her. And this is not to disrespect her, but this is to say how much I disagree with her on this one issue in particular. This might be the very first time that I could never even imagine that I would have such a big disagreement with Judge Judy on anything. Because 99.9% of the time, I agree with her rulings. I agree with how she calls people out on their bullshit. Like, I agree 100%. But this, I don't agree. And she talked about how she wanted to stop Bernie Sanders at all costs, and how America's the greatest country ever, and how Bernie Sanders is going to destroy the American dream and all that other stuff. So I'm going to play the clips, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it, and I'll talk about how much I disagree with the great Judith Scheinland on this issue.
To your judgment, why is this the first time that you've actually endorsed a presidential candidate?
Because it was urgent. Because I really believe that America's in trouble. Everybody's angry, polarized, and it will continue to be polarized unless you have a president who has no agenda other than to do the right thing for the people that he represents. Mike Bloomberg is not an ideologue. He's a doer. He sees a problem. He understands that if you have good education and a solid education as a youngster, and as you grow, you'll have the tools to make it. Listen, Mike and I are the product of an American dream. Mike grew up middle-class kid, put himself through school. I grew up middle-class kid. I wasn't as smart as he was. I couldn't get into great schools, but I got into okay schools. I was born in Brooklyn, so I have Brooklyn street smarts. And I know that if you give children reasonable building blocks, you give them a fishing pole, they'll always be able to eat. And he understands how to solve that problem. He understands the genesis of it. He understands how to tweak the things that are wrong with America. America doesn't need a revolution. It doesn't need it's the most perfect country in the world. And those people that are trying to change it and revolutionize it don't have a chance, because I'll fight them to the death.
And here's the next one. Oh, God, that was painful.
I'm involved in presidential politics. Why now?
Because I believe that the country's in trouble, and I think the country needs a proven leader I looked at the field of candidates and I said, I didn't see anyone who could beat the incumbent. The only one that I saw knew his work, knew how he managed, knew how he was able to tackle a problem, solve it, was Mike Bloomberg. So I said to him months ago, if you jump in, I'll come out from behind the curtain. He did, and I did.
You say that Senator Sanders' revolution is a joke. Why?
This is the greatest country in the world. Nobody wants to leave this country. It may need tweaking. America's a land of opportunity. It's a place where you can have big dreams, where you can be the hero of your own story, where you can look to realize that American dream. I did. I know Mike Bloomberg did. Senator Sanders' revolution is not what this country needs. It's a revolution that A, is a joke because it's fiscally impossible, and B, wherever it's been tried on a large scale, it's failed. I mean, if you look at socialism, when I looked at the definition, right next to it was a map of Venezuela, and you know how successful it was there. Young people may get excited about the word revolution. Young people always want a revolution. Then they grow up. So it's really a joke to think that you can fool the American public when you've been in Congress for as many years as Bernie Sanders has been in Congress, who I think had either 3 or 4 bills passed in the 30 years that he's been in Congress, and 2 of them were to name post offices. To think that this is a man who can create a revolution, a peaceful revolution in this country, and bring everyone together. I mean, the reason I came out from behind the closet and said I'm going to get involved in politics is because there was so much anger in America. And I think you just need a pragmatic, practical doer. And Joe Biden is a nice guy. He really is a nice guy. We don't need a sentimental vote in America today. This is a critical time in our country. I'm begging the people who are going to vote today, you want to be sentimental? Turn on Sinatra. You want a president? You vote for Mike Bloomberg.
All right, that's enough. Right, that's enough. And I literally just banged this for dramatic effect. Oh my God. I cannot believe that the great Judge Judith Sheindlin she made one of the dumbest talking points I've ever heard in my life. I am someone who is, like I said, I love Judge Judy. I'm a big fan of her. But with all due respect for her honor, that is a load of nonsense. Or as she says to the idiots in her courtroom, this is a load of baloney. Well, that's a load of baloney, okay? That's a load of baloney, okay? It's almost like a bunch of neocon Republicans jot down a bunch of index cards and gave them to Judge Judy. Like, literally. She says that this is the most perfect country in the world. It may need tweaking, but it doesn't need, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, really? That's all our country needs. Just a little tweaking. Right. Not our crumbling infrastructure. Not our mass incarceration of racial minorities for minor offenses. Not police brutality. Not our for-profit health insurance company that fucks people over on a daily basis. Not the fact that we have the highest rates of child poverty in the developed world. Not the fact that we're the only modern country that does not have universal health care. Not the fact that, not the fact that there's a slow rise in fascism that is taking place throughout the U.S. Okay, not that. And remember, this is back when fucking Trump was in office, just before COVID hit. So, really, that's the person who we need? Mike Bloomberg, really. A neoliberal fucking bombastic billionaire who was the mayor of New York. That's really who we need. That's who we really needed in the eyes of the great Judith Sheindlin. How much did he fucking pay her? Is my question. But here's the thing. The American dream, the American dream. Okay, here's the thing. You've experienced the American dream because you're rich as fuck. Okay? This is no disrespect to Judge Judy, and I want to make that perfectly clear. I am not trying to ignite hatred against her. I'm not trying to do anything. I love her. I love her. I love her show. I love seeing her take the piss out of idiots on her show. On Judy Justice, seeing her on her show. I love her. I've been a fan of her since I was a little kid. I will always love her, no matter how much of a disagreement I have with her. But this isn't a thing where I need to come out and I need to have a respectful agree to disagree. But yes, I can agree to disagree. Yes, we can agree to disagree, whatever, on this. But this is dumb. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard from someone, and nobody can deny that this is a little silly. I can't believe I've already been ranting for 11 minutes now, and I've been ranting for a few minutes, but playing those two clips. I cannot believe that we forgot the elephant in the room. The fact that Judge Judy literally said that Bernie Sanders' philosophy, everywhere it's been tried, I looked at the definition of socialism and it's a map of Venezuela. That's literally every single talking point that every single neocon douchebag who wants to interfere with every country in the world, and is a hypocrite at that, has made with regards to Bernie Sanders. Okay? And you know what? Judge Judy is free to not like Bernie Sanders. That is not the point here. It's not because, I'm a triggered Bernie bro or whatever. Like, no. That's not what it is. One of my best friends is also a big Bernie Sanders fan. And he also loves Judge Judy as well. And so doesn't his mom, and so doesn't his stepdad. But the thing is I will come out here, and even if I have a disagreement with her, I'm going to say that. But that's not going to stop me from being a fan of her just because I disagree with her on policy. Yeah, I do have a disagreement with her on policy, and a big one at that. Because Bernie Sanders' philosophy. No, here's the thing. Bernie Sanders' philosophy is the Scandinavian region, Canada, the UK, every modern developed country in the world. That's what Bernie Sanders' philosophy is. Now, here's the thing. How much of a fan am I of Bernie Sanders? I'm like a mild fan of him. I'm like a mild fan. I used to be a big Bernie Sanders fan like back in the day. I mean, I still am to some extent because, to be honest, I like Bernie. I like him for what he is, I think some of his positions, like, oh my God, we need to free these, like, non-violent offenders, like certain things he's a little too liberal on, like, we need to abolish the death penalty, and we need to, like, scrap long prison sentences, and yeah, some of his criminal justice reform is a little too liberal even for my taste. But on other things like healthcare, education, things like that, no, I'm with Bernie Sanders 100%. Him calling out the fucking rich assholes who don't pay their fair share of taxes and get fucking tax cuts and everything else from the neocon Republicans and these fucking idiots like that. No, I'm not trying to say about, Bernie Sanders wants to let non-violent people out. No, his position on we need to legalize marijuana and decriminalize non-violent drug offenses, I'm with that 100%. But abolishing the death penalty, things like that, not too much. Like, all right, it's time to lose me there. Okay. We should do away with, like, longer prison sentences and stuff like that. Like, you're kind of losing me there. Abolish mandatory minimums. Kind of losing me there. Because we need them for the most serious violent offenders. But that's besides the point. But, it's like, look, she's free to like Michael Bloomberg. I personally don't care for him because I thought he was a neoliberal and he's just the status quo, much like Joe Biden turned out to be. And this was before she's saying Joe Biden's a nice guy. He can't defeat the incumbent. Yeah, that didn't age well, did it? But besides the point, people are free to not like Bernie Sanders. They're free to not like anyone, okay? That's Judge Judy's opinion. If she said, I don't like Bernie Sanders for my own reasons, okay, whatever, that's fine, whatever. I wouldn't even care, I wouldn't comment. It's just how she went about her argument, because you would think someone who is so smart and so intelligent, like like Judge Judith Sheindlin would make such a silly argument and use Venezuela as an argument to discredit Bernie Sanders is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, because that's what the neocon douchebags like fucking Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and Ron DeSantis and fucking Donald Trump and Mike Pence have used against Bernie Sanders on a daily basis. That's what Alex Jones uses against Bernie Sanders. That's what that's what Michael Savage says against him. That's what all these other people say against him. All these fucking neocons who love fucking tax cuts for the rich and all these other these people who think like, yeah, blind fucking capitalism is the reason, is the answer to our nation. No, it's not. And obviously the results of what our nation is still to this day, even without Trump being in office, it's still this way. Okay, yes, Your Honor, you do have a great fortune of the American dream, so hasn't Michael Bloomberg. But here's the thing. You, obviously, what you're trying to say is like, you have to understand how other people feel. There are people that their wages are not growing. You see people's wages not growing. You see a lot of people in the richest country in the world in poverty, child poverty. You see all these issues. Okay, so a lot of the people in the U.S. have not been a part of the American dream. They don't know what the American dream is like you have. You making $45 million fucking dollars on your show. You don't understand what the average person goes through. Okay? As someone who loves Judge Judy, I cannot help but say this because this is the truth. People who are rich as fuck do not know what the average person goes through. Now, like luckily for me, I grew up in a middle-class family. I grew up in a middle-class, upper middle-class family. I live on my own with Steven in our own apartment. We pay our own expenses. Steven and I are both, maybe middle-class at best, but whatever. That's besides the point. Not trying to say, oh, we got this money or that, whatever. But no, what I'm trying to say is it's like, yeah, we can get by. I can get by. Steven can get by. A lot of us can get by. A lot of my friends, all my friends can get by. Most of them anyway. Okay, so you can't deny that what Judge Judy has said here is a little silly. It's actually very silly. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. And it shocked me when I first saw this back in the day. And this was during like my early stages of YouTube, and I wasn't really making videos as much or not on issues this big and whatnot. So I was more of a smaller channel around the time when this originally occurred. So it's been on my mind for a while, and when I came across this, I couldn't believe it, because I'm just like, oh my God, really? Come on. I'm like, oh my God, like Judge Judy, I love you. I love your shows. I love Judge Judy when it was on. I love Judy Justice on Amazon. I watch it all the time. I watch it whenever there's a new episode on Amazon. I check Amazon all the time to check it out. Love her show. Love her as a person. Love her as a judge. I'd watch her do anything. I'd watch her in a commercial. I'd watch her do anything. Like, nobody's a bigger fan of Judge Judy than I am. But it's important, even as someone who is a big fan of her, I can come out here and I can say, hey, I disagree with you on this position. Your position is silly. And to be quite honest, with all due respect for the Honorable Judge Judith Sheindlin, with all due respect, and I can't stress that enough, this is the craziest, dumbest, and silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because she's making neocon arguments. This is like neocon. This is something you would expect from like fucking Janine Pirro or Sean Hannity or Michael Savage or Alex Jones or some fucking crazy right-wing neocon capitalist, a capitalist philiac scumbag fucker, dumb fuck would make. Not someone as smart as the great Judith Sheindlin, okay? So again, I love her. I'm not trying to say she's dumb. I'm just saying her argument here is a little dumb. It's very dumb. It's very silly. There's no good argument. There's no evidence to back up her claim. I mean, need I go on? The medical bankruptcies. That's the thing Bernie Sanders is trying to do. So yes, we do need a revolution in this country. We need fundamental changes to our healthcare system, to our foreign policy. We need fundamental changes to a lot of things in our country. Our crumbling infrastructure. the issue of child poverty, the issue of poverty in general, the issue of wages and things like that, our roads, our bridges, all sorts of different things. There's all sorts of things, and we do need fundamental changes, not just little tweaks. We only need little tweaks in your eyes because they're not directly affecting you, and that is 100% what it is. And I'll go as far as to say this. Again, as someone who loves her, and watches her daily and has been watching her all the time since I was like 10, 11 years old. And throughout my teenage years, high school years, whatever. I'll just go far as to say this. You cannot sit there and tell me that she doesn't like Bernie Sanders because Bernie Sanders is going to tell all these fucking rich people that have millions upon millions of fucking dollars to pay their fair share of fucking taxes. Judge Judy was probably scared that she would have to pay more taxes with her amazing fortune. And that is 100% what it is. Nobody can tell me otherwise. No Judge Judy fan like myself could even tell me otherwise. Like, come on now. That is exactly what it is. That is why the fucking rich are scared of Bernie Sanders, and they are scared of progressives like him. They are scared of people like him. They're scared of people, you know. And I originally got this video from the Humanist Report and the Ring of Fire and other progressive channels I'm sort of a fan of and whatnot. Definitely better than anything the fucking mainstream ever has to say. But hey, you're free to think as you please with regards to those channels. But, you know, it's just silly, and it's just mind-boggling to hear that from someone as smart as her. But, you know, she's free to think what she wants. She's going to think what she thinks, and that's really just all there is to it. I'll still watch her show. I encourage everyone else to watch her because we need an honest voice like her calling deadbeats out on her show and others that do stupid shit, and they need to be called out at every turn. So, yeah, 100% with that. And I love her, but you can't tell me that this is not a little silly, because it is. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is something you'd expect out of a Fox News segment or something way off into the right wing. Like, this is what it is. This is exactly what it is. And that's why all these rich people are scared of fucking progressives, of like these progressive politicians who are saying to these rich fuckers, you're getting all these tax cuts while others are dealing with growing costs of living and their cost of healthcare in this country. Okay, well, yeah, they don't like that, and it scares them because it threatens their wealth and threatens their power and their influence on this country that has turned into a fucking capital oligarchy. And that is 100% what it is. So yes, Judge Judy, with all due respect, Your Honor, I disagree. I beg to differ on this, and this is a silly argument from you, and I don't agree. I'm center-left, I'm socially liberal by and large. I'm sort of a Bernie Sanders fan. I'm like a mild supporter of him. I'm not the type that's going to just sit there and fucking bitch and moan anytime someone criticizes him. No, I'm not going to do that either. I'm not like that. I'm not like the fucking Young Turks. I'm not like people like that. But I'm just saying that this is silly. And even if I didn't like Bernie Sanders, I would come out here and say that's a little silly. So that's all. You know, I can agree, we can agree to disagree. Judge Judy's free to think what she wants. I still love her. I still watch her show. I'm going to watch her. I'm going to watch her tomorrow when I'm at work to kill the time when it's quiet at work. I'll probably watch her tonight. Who knows? Yeah, Judge Judy on Amazon. Judy Justice. Definitely recommend it. Even if she says something this disagreeable, she's still great, and I still encourage people to watch her show because she is a perfect example of what a real judge should look like for this country and for the world. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, but thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed this segment. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Are you a fan of Judge Judy? Are you not? I am myself. That's why it was very close to my heart, why it's very important to me. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you all for listening. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay safe. I'll see you all again next time in the next video. Stay tuned to find out more videos on the way. This is Zach, the Celtics guy, saying thank you for watching. And to the great Judith Chiland, love her, but on this, I vehemently disagree. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think. More stuff in the works. More content coming your way soon. And I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now. Peace out. And have a good day.